Hello and welcome to Pokebattler's official Deoxys raid guide video. Deoxys is the exciting new EX raid boss, with Mewtwo being turned into what we refer to as a tier 6 boss, aka tier 5 with a 50% buff to HP. So, let's get the lowdown on Deoxys. Deoxys is the most glassy glass cannon to ever grace Pokemon Go. He's like an extreme version of Alakazam or Gengar. Deoxys has very high attack, 345. But wow, look at that defense and stamina, 115 and 100. That's not much different than Bulbasaur or Magby. Yikes. It looks like he will appear in raids in his normal form so far, but isn't currently catchable in his other forms, that's form with an E, including speed, attack, and defense. Deoxys' attack form is even bigger glass cannon than normal form, which unfortunately isn't necessarily a good thing. Sure, 414 attack is amazing, but 46 defense, 100 stamina? That's worse than Azurill. So, the question of how useful is Deoxys, particularly attack form, is a hard one to answer. When it comes to solo raids, tiers 1 through 3, and you happen to be a very good dodger, then yeah, ultra high attack can be useful. But for raids with multiple players where dodging doesn't really work, Deoxys is less useful. The problem is that Deoxys will often die before even getting off a single special. That's a pretty bad downside for a Pokemon that is going to take a lot of Stardust and rare candy to power up. You know all those times Gengar comes in and gets one-shotted before getting off a special? Deoxys' attack form will be even worse. But so far as other forms aren't available, anyway. So there's a chance the moves will change before then, so maybe there's still a chance it'll be useful. Anyway, let's look at how the movesets for each form as they currently are. Deoxys' normal form. A high attack, low defense, low stamina Pokemon with weak moves. Quick moves are Zen Headbutt, a psychic move that has fairly high DPS, Charge Beam, an electric move that gives a large amount of energy per attack. This can sometimes be good to help power up a special in time before getting one-shotted. Charge moves, Thunderbolt, this would be a great option as a high DPS double bar electric move. Psycho Boost, a double bar psychic move that is one of the worst moves in the game, almost 4 seconds, with half the DPS of a mediocre special move. This can still end up being the best, as it's a 2-bar move and you might get 1 move off. Hyper Beam, a single bar move that is also slow and moderate DPS. General recommendations for movesets are Zen Headbutt and Charge Beam, or Thunderbolt. It's a decent against water types, depending on the situation. For example, Deoxys is actually the number 4 counter against Kyogre. Or Zen Headbutt and Psycho Boost, double psychic attack, is nice, and it should be able to get off a special in most situations. Deoxys' attack form, ultra high attack, ultra low defense, low stamina Pokemon with interesting moves. Quick moves, Poison Jab, a good poison move on a high attack Pokemon, wow. Similar DPS and EPS, but faster, so often better. Zen Headbutt, a psychic move with fairly high DPS. And then for charge moves, we have Dark Pulse, a reasonable double bar dark move. 50% higher raw DPS than Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost, less useful here due to the Dark Pulse general superiority. Zap Cannon, a single bar electric move that is less useful here. So our general recommendations here are Poison Jab or Zen Headbutt and Dark Pulse. Useful in EX raids if you can get your Dark Pulse off, or Zen Headbutt and Psycho Boost, which is a double psychic attack, and you should get off a special. Deoxys' attack form is the biggest glass cannon in Pokemon Go. If you use this Pokemon, we recommend you know how dodging works and how to avoid the dodge bug. You should only be dodging quick attacks if it means you can get off a special attack. If you do not get off a special attack, your DPS is pretty terrible. For example, against Mewtwo, you need to dodge a couple confusion moves for this Pokemon to be good, but you do not need to dodge Psycho Cut. Deoxys' defense form, high defense and abysmal attack and stamina. Think Shuckle. Quick moves, Zen Headbutt, a psychic move with fairly high DPS. Counter, a fighting move that is one of the best in the game. Charge moves are Rock Slide, a good 2-bar rock move. Psycho Boost, a terrible 2-bar psychic move, and Zap Cannon, a single bar electric move that is slow but at least has moderate DPS. Our general recommendations are just put them in your Pokedex and forget about them. Deoxys' speed form is a middling attack and defense Pokemon with terrible stamina. Quick moves are Zen Headbutt, a psychic move with fairly high DPS, and Charge Beam, an electric move with high EPS. Charge moves are Psycho Boost, a double bar psychic move with terrible DPS, Zap Cannon, a single bar electric move that is slow but at least moderate DPS, and Swift, a double bar normal move with poor DPS. General recommendations, again, just put them in your Pokedex. General Deoxys counters. So now let's take a quick look at the infographic. You can see the overview here of all the different dudes, and then we'll do a deep dive into each counter. So the strongest counters, number 1 is Glass Cannon Gengar. You can use your Glass Cannon against this even Glacier Glass Cannon. Both the double Ghost and the Dark Ghost combo of Gengar are strong against Deoxys, and of course Gengar will die pretty quickly, so you want to use care and make sure you can get off those essential charge moves. Note that non-Legacy Hex Shadow Ball Gengar is amazing against most Deoxys attacks. However, Gengar moves down to number 7 against Psycho Boost, something to take into account if you know Deoxys movesets. Mewtwo. Mewtwo Shadow Ball is also an incredibly strong charge move and is a great against Psychic Mons like Deoxys. Too bad it very recently became a legacy move. Hopefully you got at least one before it went away. I know I've been raiding Mewtwo to get candy to power up my Shadow Ball Mewtwo, as it's both useful against Mewtwo himself and his currently buffed HP form and Deoxys. Tyranitar. Tyranitar continues to be ridiculously useful as a raid attacker. Something like 11 out of the 18 legendary raids recently have been weak to Dark or Rock. He shrugs off psychic attacks and has extremely strong dark attacks at his disposal. Although Double Dark is the strongest, if you have a Smackdown Tyranitar Legacy from Community Day and are short on good counters, feel free to use a Charge TM to switch from Double Rock to Rock Dark for this fight and for Mewtwo as well. Houndoom and Absol. Both these Double Dark guys are strong against Psychic Deoxys, and since they are also strong against Mewtwo, you can pull some Double Duty as your best backup raid attackers. Note that Double Dark Alola Muck did not make this list, but you can use one if you want to mesmerize your fellow players with psychedelic colors, and your group is overpowered for the fight, of course. Skizzer and Pinsir. These bugs are decent against Deoxys, just like they're decent against Mewtwo. More general counters. Apparently our extra row of general counters on our Mewtwo infographic we recently did was popular. And we at PokeBattler like to give people what they want, so we're doing it again with Deoxys. Obviously, these guys are a bit weaker than the top counters, and not ones you really want to spend a ton of Stardust on. But if you've already got some dudes powered up, or level 35 ones you found in the wild, then you can make use of these dudes. Rayquaza and Dragonite. Dragons are always decent against Deoxys. Say that 3 times fast. At level 37, Rayquaza hits a breakpoint and becomes pretty strong. And since you already probably have some powered up, we hope, since he's such a strong general attacker, he's a good choice. And we'd hope by now you'd have a powered up Dragonite. Cacturne, Sharpedo, and Shiftry. These are not strong Pokemon, and they pale in comparison to Tyranitar, but if you have some really powered up, they ain't half bad. Bannet and Alakazam. These Shadow Ball Pokemon aren't exactly Mewtwo, but they put up a decent fight. Additional good weather counters. Sunny weather, Entei. Since Entei has been in the field research reward for a while now, you probably have a few. He's a strong mon in general, so with sunny weather, bust Entei out and don't be afraid to spend some Stardust. If not for Deoxys, for future raids as well. Rainy, Pinsir and Kyogre. Pinsir is already a strong general counter, but a boost from the rain makes Pinsir numero uno, and the always strong Kyogre always becomes a top row counter in the rain. Windy. In windy weather, Deoxys gets a boost with catchable CP, but his defense still sucks. Don't worry, you probably won't notice. Dragonite, Latios, and Rayquaza. These dragons get a 20% boost to attack and become extra strong attackers in the wind, so hopefully you have some of these already powered up. Conclusion. We've done our best to simplify things down as always, but we highly recommend you use our custom raid guides. Entering an exact Pokemon that you actually have is always the best way to pick your counters. Hopefully these guides get you ready to raid whenever you start hitting your raid passes. By the way, you can share your pass with a friend now, an exciting new feature, so if you haven't gotten one yet, ask around, maybe you can tag along. Thanks for watching and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our future videos. Later.